Stay with us till the end for valuable insights. Like, subscribe, and share to support the channel. In February of the year 1258, the city of Baghdad was still alive. Its walls were strong. Its palaces were full. Its treasury overflowed with gold, jewels, and silks collected over centuries. And inside one of those palaces stood a man who believed all of it would save him. Caliph al-Musta'sim ran his fingers across piles of gold coins, emerald cups, and chests sealed with royal marks. He had protected this treasure for nearly 50 years. He had trusted walls instead of soldiers, gold instead of loyalty, silence instead of preparation. Outside, the world he ruled was already ending. Smoke rose into the sky like a dark curtain. Fires ate through markets, mosques, and homes. The screams of his people echoed through streets that had once been filled with poets, scholars, and traders. But the Caliph did not look at the city. He looked at his gold. He did not know that the men who had come for him did not care about wealth. They did not care about cities. And they did not kill kings the way other armies did. The Mongols had rules, and one of those rules was simple and terrifying. A ruler who defied them must not die quickly. He must die as a lesson. Within days, Baghdad, the greatest city on earth, would be erased. Within hours, al-Musta'sim would learn that no wall is high enough, no treasure heavy enough, and no crown powerful enough to stop what was coming. What happened next was not just an execution. It was a warning to the world. For centuries, Baghdad had believed it was untouchable. The city was not just another capital. It was the heart of the world. Knowledge flowed through its libraries. Gold flowed through its markets. Power flowed through its palaces. Rulers from distant lands spoke its name with respect, sometimes even fear. And at the center of it all sat Caliph al-Musta'sim. He was not a cruel man. He was not known for great battles or bold decisions. In fact, that was exactly the problem. For nearly 50 years, al-Musta'sim ruled quietly. He believed stability came from peace, not preparation. He believed wealth was stronger than armies. And most of all, he believed no force on earth would dare to challenge Baghdad. His advisors warned him. Messengers came from the east, breathless and terrified, speaking of cities that had vanished. They told stories of walls smashed like clay, armies destroyed in days, entire populations wiped out or carried away. One name followed every story like a shadow: the Mongols. But al-Musta'sim did not listen. He had seen enemies before. He had paid them off. He had watched them retreat. To him, the Mongols were just another storm that would break before reaching his walls. And if they did reach Baghdad, he believed gold would calm them. Gold always had. So instead of strengthening his army, he strengthened his vaults. While soldiers went unpaid, his treasury grew. While generals argued for reinforcements, he dismissed them. He trusted that the prestige of his title and the ancient glory of Baghdad would protect him better than steel. Beyond the city, however, a different kind of power was moving. The Mongol armies did not rush. They did not shout. They did not threaten. They advanced with patience, like a machine that never stopped. Each city they faced was given a choice: surrender and live, or resist and disappear. Many resisted. The Khwarezmian Empire had once been strong, proud, and heavily fortified. Its rulers believed, just like al-Musta'sim, that walls and numbers made them safe. Within a few years, the empire was gone. The cities were rubble. Its people were scattered. Its name became a warning whispered in fear. Baghdad ignored that warning. As winter of 1258 settled in, the Mongols arrived. Their camps stretched across the land like an endless sea of tents. Their siege engines moved into place with calm precision. They cut off supplies. They diverted rivers. They waited. Inside Baghdad, panic finally began to spread. People crowded the streets, praying, crying, begging their leaders to act. But it was too late. The army was weak. The defenses were neglected. And the ruler still believed that the Mongols wanted one thing only: gold. He did not understand them. The Mongols did not come for treasure. They came for obedience. And Baghdad had already failed the test. The Mongols were not like any enemy the world had faced before. They did not fight with pride. They did not fight for glory. They fought with discipline, memory, and rules carved into them over generations. Every battle they fought made them stronger, not weaker. Every city they destroyed became a lesson they carried forward. By the time they reached Baghdad, the Mongols had been perfecting war for over 50 years. Their soldiers were raised in the saddle. From childhood, they learned to ride, shoot, and survive without comfort. They could travel for days without supplies, living off dried meat and milk. They did not depend on cities. Cities depended on them for mercy. They moved faster than any army in history. Messages traveled between units with speed and clarity. Orders were followed without question. Every soldier knew his role. Every commander understood the plan. Baghdad had none of this. When the Caliph finally ordered his forces to prepare, the weakness became clear. Soldiers lacked training. Weapons were old. Morale was low. Many had not been paid in months. Some units deserted before the first battle was even fought. Outside the walls, the Mongols began their work. They did not rush the city. Instead, they broke its strength piece by piece. They destroyed villages nearby to remove any chance of support. They captured escape routes. They forced the people inside to watch as hope slowly vanished. Their engineers built massive siege machines with terrifying speed. Stones the size of men crashed into walls that had stood for centuries. Arrows darkened the sky. Fires burned day and night. Still, al-Musta'sim believed in negotiation. He sent envoys with gifts and promises. He offered gold, jewels, and submission without humiliation. He believed that surely this would be enough. Surely no one would destroy the greatest city on earth. The Mongols returned his envoys alive, but with a message. They did not want partial obedience. They did not want excuses. They did not want treasure. They wanted total surrender. When the Caliph hesitated, the punishment began. The walls fell faster than anyone expected. Flooded defenses turned useless. Soldiers broke ranks. Citizens ran in terror as Mongol troops poured into the city with brutal efficiency. This was not chaos. It was a system. Entire neighborhoods were cleared street by street. Anyone who resisted was killed immediately. Anyone who surrendered was marked and counted. Scholars, craftsmen, and useful workers were separated. The rest were slaughtered without hesitation. The Mongols believed fear was a weapon more powerful than any sword, and they used it perfectly. Within days, Baghdad was no longer a city. It was a grave, and the Caliph, the man who believed gold could save him, was captured alive. The Mongols had one final lesson to teach, and it was meant for every ruler who would ever hear this story. Caliph al-Musta'sim was brought before the Mongol commanders not as a ruler, but as a prisoner. The man who once sat on a golden throne now stood surrounded by soldiers who did not bow, did not kneel, and did not fear him. His robes were dusty. His face was pale. His voice, once firm, now trembled. For the first time in his life, his wealth meant nothing. The Mongols did not rush his execution. They believed speed was for battle, not for justice. First, they wanted him to understand why he was going to die. They led him through the ruins of Baghdad. He saw streets buried in ash. He saw mosques collapsed into stone and fire. He saw bodies stacked like broken furniture. The sound of mourning filled the air. but no one dared cry too loudly. This was the cost of defiance. The Mongols followed a belief that royal blood should not touch the earth. Not out of mercy, but out of tradition. Kings were not to be executed like common men. They were to be erased in a way that showed power without chaos. So they chose a method that would echo through history. Al-Musta'sim was taken to his own treasury. The doors he had guarded for decades were thrown open. Gold spilled across the floor. Jewels caught the light of burning buildings. His life's obsessions surrounded him. The Mongols mocked him without words. They ordered him to sit among his wealth. They reminded him that he had chosen gold over soldiers, walls over people, silence over action. Then they ended him, not with a sword, not with fire, but by crushing him beneath the weight of his own treasure. His death was slow, silent, final. The message was clear: what you worship will destroy you. His family did not escape this fate. Sons who had never ruled were killed to end his bloodline. Women of the court were taken as prisoners. His name, once spoken with respect, became a symbol of failure. The Mongols did not celebrate. They recorded. This was not revenge. It was policy. Every ruler who heard of Baghdad would understand one truth: resistance was suicide. Delay was death. Pride was weakness. The greatest city in the world had fallen not because it was weak, but because its leader believed he was untouchable. And the Mongols moved on. The destruction of Baghdad did not shock the Mongols. To them, it was simply another step in a process they had perfected over decades. What shocked the world was how complete that destruction was. A city that had defined civilization, learning, and power for centuries vanished in a matter of days. And the Mongols wanted it that way. Their war was not just about land. It was about memory. Long before Baghdad fell, the Mongols had already erased an empire that many believed could never be destroyed. The Khwarezmian Empire stretched across vast lands. The cities were fortified. Its armies were large. Its ruler believed himself untouchable, much like al-Musta'sim. When Mongol envoys arrived offering peace and trade, the Khwarezmian ruler made a fatal decision. He insulted them. He killed some of them. In Mongol law, this was unforgivable. Killing envoys was not just an attack. It was a declaration of war against the future. The Mongols responded with terrifying patience. They did not attack all at once. They split their forces, striking cities from multiple directions. Each city was isolated. Each was surrounded. Each was given the same choice: surrender or disappear. Many resisted, trusting their walls and soldiers. None were saved. Cities that had taken generations to build were erased in days. Some were burned. Others were flooded when rivers were diverted. People fled only to be hunted down across open land. The Mongols wanted no survivors who could rebuild resistance. This was not cruelty without purpose. It was strategy. By the time the Mongols reached Baghdad, their reputation had already traveled faster than their horses. Entire regions surrendered before a single arrow was fired. Rulers sent tribute, hostages, and promises of loyalty, hoping fear would spare them. Baghdad chose pride instead. This fall was meant to be remembered above all others. The Mongols destroyed not only its people but its identity. Libraries were burned or thrown into rivers. Scholars were killed or enslaved. Knowledge that had shaped the world vanished forever. This was the true meaning of erasing an empire. Not just killing a ruler, not just destroying walls, but removing the past so completely that the future could not rebuild it. After Baghdad, no ruler could claim ignorance. No king could say he did not know the price of defiance. The Mongols had written their message in ash, blood, and silence, and the world listened. After Baghdad fell, the world changed its behavior. News of the city's destruction traveled along trade routes, across deserts, and through royal courts. Merchants spoke of rivers darkened by ink and blood. Survivors whispered about streets filled with bodies and palaces turned to dust. Every version of the story carried the same truth. Resistance no longer made sense. Rulers who once laughed at Mongol threats stopped laughing. They gathered their advisors in secret. They reread old messages they had ignored. They measured their walls and realized how small they truly were. Some kings removed their crowns in private, understanding that pride had become a liability. The Mongols understood something most empires never did. Fear, once proven, does not need to be repeated. They did not destroy every city they approached. Often, they did not need to fight at all. A single messenger, a single reminder of Baghdad, was enough to open gates. Tribute flowed without resistance. Hostages were offered willingly. Cities survived not because they were strong, but because they were obedient. This was the lesson written in blood. The fate of al-Musta'sim became a story told carefully, with lowered voices. His death beneath his own treasure was not just punishment. It was a symbol, a warning that wealth without wisdom was a curse, not protection. Rulers learned that walls could be broken. Armies could be defeated. Gold could become a coffin. The Mongols moved on, leaving behind silence where empires once stood. Their power was not endless, but their memory was. Even where their rule eventually faded, the fear remained for generations. Baghdad never recovered. It would be rebuilt in time, but it was never the same. The center of the world had shifted. The age of unquestioned authority was over. Survival now depended on understanding the enemy, not underestimating him. The Mongols had taught the world how to listen. The Mongols eventually moved on from Baghdad, but they did not leave it behind. The city stayed alive in memory, not as a place of beauty or learning, but as a symbol of what happens when power refuses to see reality. Long after the smoke cleared and the armies rode away, the lesson of Baghdad continued to travel across the world. Every ruler who heard the story understood one thing clearly. This was not about cruelty alone. This was about consequence. Al-Musta'sim was not defeated because he was weak or evil. He was defeated because he believed the world worked the way it always had. He believed status protected him. He believed wealth could solve any problem. He believed history itself would defend Baghdad. But history does not protect those who ignore it. The Mongols represented a new kind of force. They did not care about titles. They did not fear tradition. They did not respect ancient glory. To them, a city was either obedient or destroyed. A ruler was either useful or erased. This way of thinking shocked the world. For centuries, kings had relied on ritual, diplomacy, and slow wars. The Mongols replaced all of that with speed, certainty, and fear. They proved that hesitation was fatal and arrogance was deadly. Baghdad became the proof. Parents told the story to their children. Advisors reminded their kings. Poets wrote carefully, choosing words that would not offend new masters. Even enemies of the Mongols studied them, copying their tactics, learning their discipline, and respecting their methods. The Mongols did not just conquer land. They conquered thinking. They forced the world to accept a hard truth. Power belongs to those who adapt. Those who cling to comfort, wealth, and old beliefs will be crushed by those who prepare. Al-Musta'sim's greatest failure was not losing a war. It was refusing to believe one was coming. His treasure could not save his people. His silence could not stop the enemy. His pride turned Baghdad into a graveyard and his name into a warning. Even today, the story endures. It reminds rulers that leadership is responsibility, not decoration. that walls are useless without will, that gold is meaningless without wisdom, and that ignoring danger does not make it disappear. The Mongols wanted the world to remember Baghdad, and the world did, because some warnings are written so deeply in blood and fire that they never truly fade.